Do what you love to do, and if it makes you happy, do it, because life is short. This is all I have. Satra is all I have. There's nothing else that I can do to make money except for this. This is the life that you're going to take in. If I press the reset button and I restarted, I think I would quit.
All right, we have Jack from Satrawoot here today. If you don't know who Satrawoot is and who Jack is, you're going to find out today. Jack, thanks for coming on and making time today, man. Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me, man.
So tell us a little bit about, what is Satrawoot?
Satrawoot is actually a Muay Thai brand, and active apparel. So it's for Muay Thai and also for regular, activity like running, jogging, even going outside. So it's a streetwear company as well. So we want to be able to serve everyone, all types of, walking. Like if you need to go out, but you want to look cool, put it on. You need to go for a run. Cool. This is a perfect outfit for you. You need to do some Muay Thai. Cool. We have that for you too. So we really want to be able to take over those avenues and really, really push the brand. Actually, mainly is really pushing the community. So we want to be able to grow the community and educate as much as possible.
Awesome. And then when did you start this company?
I actually started in 2015. It first started in 2010 when I first started designing it, but I didn't know what to do with it. I just knew that I wanted to design something that was based off my heritage, being Thai. And I was thinking, how would I sell this? Who would buy this? So I never really executed it in 2010 because I didn't know my marketing. I didn't know my who am I going to be approaching? Yeah. And then eventually in 2015, I was doing Muay Thai, and then one of my coaches at that time was David Hueta. He was like, "Hey man, do you think you could sponsor one of our fighters?" And I'm like, "Sponsor them doing what? What do you want them to do?" At that time, I owned and ran a jiu-jitsu company. So I was selling gis. So I was all like, "Yeah, man, I only do jiu-jitsu, but I think I might have something for you guys." I was like, "You know what? Let me pull some shirts out." So I went into my computer, print out the first shirt ever, and gave it to the gym, and I gave it to the guys that are fighting. And then the whole gym just wanted to buy it for some weird reason. And it just went viral. And ever since then, we went to Boxing Works, and then we went to other gyms, and then now it's
kind of grown. I saw you at the US Muay Thai Open. You had a booth set up there.
Yeah. Finally, that was our first time to just introduce ourselves. And this year, or last year and this year, we're going to be at a lot of booths. We're going to be introducing ourselves a lot more because we noticed that our Muay Thai shorts sell so fast online only. That's what everybody's buying, but they don't see the apparel, or people don't really pay attention to it. So when we're at the shows, these t-shirts and apparels are just flying off the shelf. So it's just, so that's no brainer, right? We're just hey, we got to do all the shows ever, and then try to sell all the apparel that we can and grow the company. So
and I remember it's me and you have seen each other in passing, but we didn't actually sit down and talk until we were in Bangkok.
Exactly, right. Icon Siam, man, that's the best place ever, dude.
Yeah, Icon Siam at the King's Cup, right there on the waterfront in Bangkok. That was super dope. You remember that? I think it's the cruiserweight that won the world title that night.
I think I totally forgot.
Okay. But
he girl, right?
He just won another world title. I think he won the WBC title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I know his trainer. I've had him here on the podcast before too. Super cool guy. And it was the same thing. Me and him had talked online and stuff like that because he's in Australia. We had COVID. And I saw him there. He's like, "Hey, Jonathan Pu'u." He made sure to come over and say hi. I'm like, "Oh, shit."
It's awesome, right? You're just damn, people all around the world just say, "Hey, I know you." And then they start talking.
You do it. And "Oh, man, yeah, you're the face that's behind that. Got it."
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool.
Kind of going into here, it's super cool what you guys are doing with your product and building that. It's very admirable. And it's promoting the sport. And I think that's something that's really cool. Let's go into our focus and preparation section. So with that, is there a secret message, idea, or a product that you can share with Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast that helps you kind of focus and tackle your most vital priorities? I mean, you got a lot going on. Maybe it's something about how you've focused and built your company.
So the main thing, if everyone like is struggling to build their product or their company or whatnot, what really drove me was I did it for fun at first. So let's say I was a designer. I wanted to work for DreamWorks and be this best animator or like be a concept artist and really work in the movie industry. And it was fun. But it was a time where we just weren't getting any work. We weren't doing anything. So now I'm like, oh man, I have nothing else to do. So I started this, the brand. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start designing shirts for athletes, for anyone who needs help to raise money because they want something cool and they want to sell to their supporters and the supporters will buy it. So I started off with that in 2015. That's what Satrawoot was really meant for, was to help athletes to sell clothes. And as it comes on, pre-orders were going like crazy. We're selling like hundreds of shirts and I'm just like, whoa, like this is crazy. So now everybody knows who we are, right? So then I started to just said, oh, you know what? Let's do some more. Let's start exploring more shirts, and more ideas, and more designs, and then after that, it was fun because now everybody's reposting, right? People are posting me. People are like, oh, and then that's the high. That's where you get like, yeah, I need to keep going. Like this is kind of, I think I'm up to something.
Yeah. But
then when you feel like you're up to something, and then all of a sudden another company hates on you, that's when you know that, hey man, I must be doing something right, because for you to hate me for no apparent reason, then that means that I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
That I'm scaring you from being better. Like from you might be I'm taking customers from you or something.
Yeah.
So I use that as my source of energy to keep going and to build. And all of a sudden it's like, oh dang, I went a little beyond that now. I don't really care about that company, or I don't care about this anymore. All I care about is the growth and how to educate people and how to build a community. So eventually that just drove me to keep going.
Nice.
To keep building a better reason for why I want to keep going. And that's the reason, like we have the seminars, we have, these shows now, and then we have our online, we're still releasing shorts. So those are the three key things that are keeping us at bay to keep going. Cause it's fun. Everybody will come and shake your hand and say, thank you for doing this, because no other brand is really doing what we're doing, to be honest,
Yeah.
Most likely they'll follow suit after,
yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's already a couple that are coming up.
Yeah. So it's, and I don't hate on them. I think I wish them the best. And I would like to help them, if anything, if it's cool, like, cause Muay Thai is not about like, there's so much fish, to like attract. Are you trying to be like this $1 billion company, $1 million company, or you're just trying to be able to feed yourself and be happy and doing what you love to do? Like I fly everywhere, and it's great. It's a great feeling, but I'm not doing it because I'm making millions. I'm doing it because I want to be part of the community. And that's what people need to be more interactive with the community.
Yeah. Be
in it, and don't like just, oh, I'm just going to be in my cave and I hate everybody and I want to just sell and just do, Dr. Evil shit, like go out there, be happy, like go join the community, shake everyone's hand, introduce yourself, inspire somebody, those are the things that really drive me for the company. And that's why I keep going and I keep doing what I do.
And that kind of goes into my next question I have for you is, what is a daily habit that you have that you strongly believe contributes to your success in your company?
The success of the company, I think every morning I wake up 5 a.m. every day. I don't know why I do it. I think maybe because I don't have like a 9-to-5 job. Oh. So when I wake up, it's like I wake up voluntarily. So that's what happens later on in life. Like you wake up voluntarily, you check your email, you have a list of things that you need to do. Like, okay, I need to finish this design for this person. We have Satrawoot Canada now, so Canada will need this type of files. And then now I'm working until maybe like 10 or 11, then go golf and chill, and then come back, go to the store, check on the workers, see if they're good, and then go home. And that's the end of my day. Like that's a typical. It keeps me going. That those type of it's like a rhythm. I
Yeah,
just kind of follow the rhythm, right?
definitely. I can definitely relate. I don't get up at 5 a.m. though, because sometimes I'm working like super late with like the gyms and stuff like that too. The kind of going to the next part, let's talk about like overcoming too, because it sounds like you've overcome a lot as well. Tell us about like a challenging time or situation you had that could have devastated like your company or what you're doing, and what you did. Because you persisted obviously through it. You made a tough decision, and now it serves as like it's what's maybe a painful memory, and it serves as like an invaluable learning experience now.
I'll be honest, man. Like I've been through hell, so it started even from like my teenage years down to my 20s to my 30s, and now in my 40s. My 40s, I'm happy now. But Satrawoot actually started in Satra, which is so there's two words, right? We have Satrawoot, which is weapon in Thai.
Mhm.
Let me explain like how this whole thing started. And then Satra, which is staying ambitious to rule adversaries. So there's two sides to it. There's
Ah.
one for athletes, like athleisure people, right? The Satra, and then Satrawoot is for like Muay Thai world.
Yes.
So the apparel is usually based off Satrawoot, and that's like weapon. And then Satra is like the brand. It's like, hey, this is what we have in our hats. This is what we have in our shirts. This is what we have. So there's two separate things. So in my 20s, I had a lot of problems. I couldn't finish school. I wasn't that good at school, surprisingly. My dad passed away at 25. So that was really shaking up the family, right?
100%.
Because he was the only one that was making money for the household.
Oh shit.
So my mom was a housewife. She didn't know what to do. So, and that time I got into like one of the best art colleges ever, like in the nation or even in the world. If I would say, it was at Art Center College of Design. I got in. I was like, oh my God, I finally got in. It took me 5 years to try to get into that school. So my dad passes away. I jump into this craziest college ever. Teachers are like saying your artwork sucks. You're a piece of shit. Like, you need to get the out of here. What are you doing here?
Really? They were like that?
The school was crazy, right? And then for me, I was like, oh, I need to go to the school. My dad he loves cars, right? So I was like, you know what? I need to be a car designer. I want to be the best car designer ever so I can make him proud, So then I was just running through that whole system. I was going to school. I was paying the tuition on my own. That was like 100,000 something more for that whole 2 years.
Damn.
And it was crazy, man. It was like a crazy experience. I didn't finish school. I got kicked out, right? I got kicked out. Then I went to San Francisco. I lived there for a year and went to school for illustration at the Academy of Art. And that was dope, but I had no help. So I was living off financial aid. And then one of my friends there hooked me up with a job at front desk at the illustration department. So I was able to at least buy food, right? And pay for rent. And man, I was working, drawing for like 11 hours a day. And then got kicked out. I had to leave because I couldn't pay for it anymore, right? Because I was on my own. My mom wasn't like willing to help me out at that time anymore. She was like, no, man, I already helped you out a little bit. Like, I'm not doing anything for you anymore.
Yeah.
So I got back, lived on the couch, on my parents' couch, because all the rooms were rented out because she had to sustain the house somehow, right? Mm-hmm. So I was living on the couch, didn't know what to do. I was already like 33, 34.
Damn, that's a tough place to be in that at 33, 34.
Exactly. And so that's why it transitioned into Satra's, because I got a job doing clothing, right? Mm-hmm. While I was doing clothing, I was like, I'm going to start training jiu-jitsu again. So I started doing jiu-jitsu, started getting into the habit of training again. And then that's how the company started. So,
nice.
Go forward, the company, we went through so much. Like I had a lot of companies hated on me when I first started. That really caused a lot of problems for me. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people would have quit, I think.
When you say hated on you, like what did they do?
Like they just make sure like certain athletes don't work with me. Uh-huh. Certain, they don't like help me or promote what I was doing at that time, where I was pretty much like pretty known. Mm-hmm. A lot of people rejected what I did. You know what I mean? But what I noticed that the people that reject me now, they're still where they're at, or compared to where I'm at, so
maybe that's what they were worried about.
It wasn't that. It was just politics. Muay Thai has so much politics, bro. Like, these politics really fuck up the sport. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I don't understand the politics, So for me, I stay away from politics. All I want to do is sell clothes, man. Like, is it hard to just sell some clothes, bro? Like, I'm just selling clothes, dude. I don't care who you hate or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just drawing and I'm putting it out there, and people like my drawing, they buy it, right?
Yeah.
Like, why is it such a hard thing? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do people have to be like, oh man, I'm on this side or I'm on that side? Your side. There's no sides, man. There's just love, like there should be everyone should be working together. So I feel like any brand that went through that, they would have been like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I have no money. I have no, there's no money being made from this thing. So I'm gonna quit. And most companies have quit, and most companies have gone to the ground. The companies that I've seen that were with me at that time are really not around anymore.
Yep. I know. I can name like 3 off the top of my head.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it doesn't matter, because I just kept going. And that's what you have to do as a person who runs a brand, who really loves, you have to really love what you do. If you're doing it because you want to make money, you think that this person is making a lot of money because he's doing it like this. That's not the story.
Yeah. You're going to burn out.
Yeah. You're going to be like, no, fuck that. I already spent all my money. I was broke like 5 times for Satra. And I was like, you know what? Am I going to quit? Am I going to close? I came way too far to quit. It's like, dude, this is a household brand already. Like, everybody knows who we are. Am I going to just, you know what? I'm cool. I'm not guys. No more. Yeah. It's never mind, guys. You guys, and everybody's like, what happened to that company? Like, they were doing so well, and then blah, 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 So I was like, you know what? I'm going to suck it up, put it on my credit card, be in debt, whatever I need to do, and keep going. And that's what it is. Like, I want it to be like the Nike of Muay Thai, the hundreds of Muay Thai. Like, I want it to be something bigger. And these are the investments that I was willing to do. I don't have a partner when it comes to investing or putting money in together. It was all me, I have partners that have options for the company when we get bigger. Yes, we do have that. And it's part of our team. So it's kind of like we're building a team. So if that engine, now we're building a motor, right? Like the best motor that we can. And whoever is dictating that motor, then we're able to build a bigger, better motor as we go. And that's the best way, man. That's how you keep going and keep excelling.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes to my next thing is, we talk about like a brand overcoming and going through that, and a lot of them would quit. What do you think is the most critical skill that like a brand or a business owner needs in order to master, to thrive today?
To thrive today, you got to have a good designer, man. Like, if you're not a good designer, or you don't have anyone to design for you, don't open up a clothing company.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. You can open up a brand, and if it's the same word over and over, it gets mundane. Like, people will buy it still.
Yeah, people want something. They want to see something different.
They want to see like for me, my strategy was like, so I had to come up with these strategies, right? To okay, why would someone in Muay Thai want to buy my clothes? Right. So I would think to myself like, oh, I could put Muay Thai this, Muay Thai that, and people buy it, but then it becomes lame a little bit. Now the normal people can't buy it, right? The people that are just barely dabbling in Muay Thai won't buy it, because they're like, oh, hey, I don't want to wear this, man. I feel like a douchebag wearing this, like, or So that's where we come in, where we design something very simple that you would see on the streets, right? Not like douchey. That time was like Affliction, right? It was like tap out. Remember that? Like the whole MMA, like these douchey ass shirts that
those were freaking terrible, man.
Yeah. And so then I was like, yo, I'm trying to steer away from that look. So let's go towards the whole streetwear look. So that's where I started designing and drawing a lot of streetwear stuff, like a lot of tigers, a lot of beautiful lettermanship, beautiful letters, you know, and I grew up in the graffiti world, so it
Ah,
was very fun for me now
yeah.
because now I'm able to express myself, right? Like, oh, dude, I'm gonna do this dope like tag, and then whoever's in that whole street life, they'll be like, yo, that's dope, you know? Or people who aren't into them, like, that's ghetto. But who are mostly people in Muay Thai are usually pretty much from the streets that I've grown up, you know?
Yeah.
So they appreciate it. And I think that's how we grew really well, is because people appreciate the way we design our aesthetics, you know, and
Relatable.
also the way we act towards
Yeah.
people.
And it's like, you're relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
Very relatable.
And our customer service is top notch too. Like we're we don't we don't like not answer for like 3 days and be like, oh, I need this or I need that, you know.
Yeah.
We more like we answer right away. I'm sure any customer could testimony, like right when I send a message, boom, I get a message back like as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like they're being like taken advantage of for their
Yeah.
money.
You're
So
not just you're not you're not like a carpetbagger where you just collect the money and then run.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of brands do that, right? They just sell a product, cool. All right, now you on your way because you already got what you wanted and you go do your
Yeah.
thing, you know. But if you want to be a long lasting brand, you want to be a real company that really is about the community. You have to respond. You have to have a good customer service interaction. You have to have, you know, good shipping time, a lot of interaction with the customers all the time, because that's how they feel safe when they have a pre-order
Yeah.
or
They
a
know you're not
shipment
going to
late.
just up and walk away with their money.
Exactly. And that's what everybody starts freaking out about until they buy stuff from us. They have a problem. They hit us up. Then after that, boom, they're like our loyal customers now. Like they heard of us. They always come back
Yeah.
because I'm sure they go to another Muay Thai company. I'm sure they don't get a response in like 3 days, 2 days, tops, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they bought like twins or like some kind of Muay Thai that's in Thailand, because they don't have a customer service
Yeah. They
line
don't
that
really
you could
speak
call.
English either.
Yeah, like they're like, what? Where'd you get this from? They're like, oh, well, I just bought it from the store. Like they're not going to help you.
No.
So the people that you bought the store from will have to help you. So that's why it's the difference between us and other Muay Thai companies as well. It's like our customer service is on point. We have a store you can walk in. If you have any problems, you could ask them. So we really try to make this into a real company where it's just not a company that's just going to disappear. It's going to be a company that you're going to see eventually at the mall, you know, or I don't know if I'll be at the mall, but I'll be like at a trendy place, you know, like a nice store, streetwear store, and reselling some boxing shoes maybe later in the future or something like that. So
There you go.
that's our plan, right? So we want to keep that energy the same, and that's how you keep going, man. You know.
Yeah. With that too, can you tell us about like an influential lesson you've learned from a mentor that made you the brand that you are today?
I never really had a mentor.
You didn't?
No, never.
Like no one that just to bounce ideas off of that, like you looked up to or anything like that?
No, never. Like I
That's crazy, man. But not even like, I mean, you were training Muay Thai. Did you talk to your trainer about this? Your instructors?
I mean, the instructors would just tell me to kick and punch. You know, they don't really. There's really no like. I mean, my coach now, Kuram Bakiver, he's cool, man. Like, you know, the way if I have problems, I'll be able to talk to him about it. But it was mostly a lot of personal problems. You know, then we'll talk about it and stuff like that. But when it came to like business, I never had like a business mentor who told me like, oh, you gotta do this, okay? You gotta, you know, do that. I was literally, Satrawoot was a mess. I'll be honest. Like we did things like on the fly. Like it was like, okay, we're gonna design a shirt. Cool. All right. We print it out, and then it's still like that. It's like we print it out, cool, go shoot straight to media, right? And the media team takes it. And then they do, you see all the videos that we do and all that stuff. Like, even though like we're the ones, I feel like we started that. That whole like high quality commercials and like, you know, try to really push Muay Thai and really show like the real, you know, Muay Thai. Then now you kind of see everybody kind of doing that high quality video.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's played out. Like people are like, it's just another. They like to see like that iPhone, right? Like it's a thing now. Like they want to see iPhone stuff and like, oh, okay, cool. This is dope. This is them like hitting pads. Right? So now it's like, now we're transitioning to influencers. Yeah. So yeah, that time I had no mentors. I was just going with what I saw on what's going on the internet, and I had to predict everything. So yeah. So let's say
the new marketplace, you know, for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally I had to use my brain. Like I was like, okay, I use a whole data graph, right? So I look at my graph. I'm like, okay, the beginning of the month of Satra, boom, we're like skyrocket, right? And then when it hit like mid-month, it'll just go like this, boom, it'll just drop, right? Uh-huh. And I'm like, and it's like this for 2 months. And I'm like, why does it go so high and then it drops throughout the 2 months, right? Uh-huh. So then I had no one to talk to about it. So I was just kind of like, damn, what do I do? What do I do? So I had to say, you know what? I'm going to release a Muay Thai short every month, because that's when the graph went up, was when I released a short, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let's see what the graph, how the interaction happens after I release every month. So I release every month, goes boom, right? And then it goes down slightly. But by the time it goes down slightly, the new month is already, so I have new shorts coming out. So boom again, right? So now I have this graph that's going like this, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, that works. So how do I make it go like an arc, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes back up again. How do you make something go arc and go back up again? So now it's every month, right? You still have your Muay Thai shorts every month. Now it's played out. People are like, I'll buy it whenever I want to buy it, right? Now we have these shows that we sell to stores and stuff like that. Now our graph is up again, right? Now this year we start seminars. We start to really be present in the community. So now our graph is just like this now. There's no like, there's no time. So that's the reason. That's the only thing that I learned on my own. It was my own mistakes.
Yeah,
it's learning from your own mistakes and knowing to when not to make that mistake again. And if you do, if you know that you can't solve that, right? So the best thing is to find out, is it worth it? One. And how is it gonna portray for your brand, right?
Yeah.
So for me, sponsoring athletes and stuff like that, they're great. But if let's say you got like one of the biggest names, right, in Muay Thai, he is already a brand in his own.
Yeah.
Okay. So you give him some shorts, he wears it. It's not like your brand is gonna be like, oh, like people are gonna buy it, right? They just kind of go, they look at him more than they look at what his shorts he's wearing.
Yeah.
You get seen, so it's like you're like a billboard, right? So you're like, oh yeah, cool. I just paid $3,000 to be a billboard, and no sales have went up, right?
Yeah.
So now you see like, prominent brands right now, they're trying to put it on all these one championship fighters and stuff like that, and like it does help, but it really doesn't. If they can't find your stuff in their little circle or community or on their website or whatever, they're not going to buy it. Yeah. And if they see it, they'll buy it, but they're going to be like, okay, this is I want to go back to something that resembles me more, right? So that's our niche market is resemblance. Like it's like, hey, this I like Nike stuff. I like streetwear stuff. Like this is what I'm about. Like, okay, I'll stick to Satra. I'll stick to like these rare shorts that come out, once a month or, whatever, and never be released again. And then the people that are trying to catch up are like, oh, like I saw your brand now. How do I get those? You can't. You just have to find someone who has your size that doesn't want it no more, and they have to buy it, So we're not trying to be that big. We're not trying to be like, oh, I need to put this on Jonathan Haggerty, or I need to put this on blah, blah, blah. We tried that already. It doesn't work, The best way is to build your brand honestly. And it's all about the design, man. Like you look at this other brand, I think it was like Kill Crew.
Yeah.
Like you don't see them. You don't see no big time athletes wearing Kill Crew.
No, but they're everywhere.
Right?
Yeah.
Why? How? Right? It's it's because their ads, their design, and all this. That's why they're popular.
Mhm.
So for us, it's the same thing. Like we want to build a team, and then that team stays at 7. And if one person wants to go to another team, wants to go to another brand, cool, go for it. And then now we could fill that slot, right?
Yeah.
To find another person.
Yeah.
So that's why we have such a limited amount of athletes. And people ask us, how do I join? How do I join? It's not like, how do you join? It's how much you love the brand, and you show us how much you love us. Then we'll be like, hey, you want to be part of the team, and you're good. Like people, you're popular. Okay, cool. And then how much do you need? Okay, cool. Now they will start to be able to give you money and give you whatever you need, right?
They become like a brand ambassador, right?
Exactly. And we don't want it to be just like, oh, I'm the WCB's champion now, and I have this and that. Like, I have a brand, so now you need to sponsor me. Like, I don't need to sponsor you. I don't give a how, like
the entitlement for me, Jack.
Exactly. It's the entitlement that they have because yes, you worked hard to get there. But if you act like that, then I already said, nah, I'm good. This is not what we're about.
It's not what you want to associate with your brand with that.
Right. Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And it's like right now we're building like a Thai team, right? In Thailand. So they're all Thai fighters. That's it.
Nice.
Like, this is it. Yeah. So we're building a Thai team, but we're building it because now these Thai fighters are like, yo, you're Thai? Like now they feel comfortable doing work with you. You know what I mean? Whereas like if they work with a foreigner or whatever, they know for sure that they're going to get over somehow, but they still want to get that.
They still want the leverage from it. Yeah.
Exactly. So then now they'll have leverage with us now, but then also we'll be Thai where you can speak to us in Thai and we'll be able to help you out.
Yeah, relate a bit more too.
And help you because the culture is totally different.
Oh yeah.
And people don't understand the culture, compared to us. Like that's the reason why we're different too. It's like we're a company, Thai-owned company. And when we design stuff, it's based off, Thai culture, but it also has that Western flair to it, right? Where like you're like, yo, I could rock this, like our jackets are amazing. Like everyone loves those jackets, and like that's our thing,
I'll give an analogy. It's the reason why you don't see UFC in Bangkok, Thailand, and you see one championship in Bangkok, Thailand, right?
Exactly.
It's the understanding the cultural differences and being able to adapt through that too. And kind of going through this too, obviously you talked about like building and scaling your business, and it's a lot of hard work. But having that right strategy, like recipe to follow, those steps that you need, like whether it be like releasing new shorts, those little ingredients for those projects and goals can become a little bit more clear. You just know like, hey, next step is this.
Yeah.
And, you're creating like basically a system for that's something that's predictable, repeatable. And, as the brand, you can keep producing those same results for customers time and time again.
Exactly.
And kind of like in this final round of the podcast, I want you to kind of just break down some of like what your recipes for success are and the ingredients that helps you along your path. So like if there was a magic reset button that you could like smash right now as it relates to starting your journey in Satra, what system or method would you go back and put into place sooner, and why?
I'll be honest, like I don't think I if I press a reset button and I restarted, I think I would quit because everything that all the things that happened to me that was a hardship and all that stuff, that's the reason why the company is still alive. Nothing, I feel like nothing comes easy. It's just like being a champion, right? Nothing comes easy. You got to train, but this is different. This is mind, soul, people around you. It's more than just a fight. This is like your life. So whatever mistakes that you make, forgive yourself and make it better. That's the only thing I could say to everybody. And to never give up. That's what Satra stands for, is staying ambitious to rule all adversaries.
Yeah.
You have to keep staying ambitious so you can rule all adversaries. You don't know what your adversary is. It could be your mind. It could be your parents. It could be anybody. It's not your opponent that you're fighting. That's why our A is upside down at the end, right? It has cuts through it because that's your adversary. You don't know what it is. So your goal is to have yourself defeat your adversary. And that's why you have the VS at the end of our logo.
Got it. Well, now I know. I didn't know that.
Exactly. That's why when it comes in, you're like, okay, it's yourself defeating your adversary. So without any of these problems that I had, I wouldn't have created the company.
Got it.
And I wouldn't have came up with what it meant. Our 3 goals that we have to all our team members that I talk to, all employees, all the staff, is that we're here to innovate, motivate, and educate. If we can't do any of these three things, then there's no point of us being a brand.
Yeah.
Because now we're not just selling products, we're selling a lifestyle. We're selling you something that's authentic and that we're actually really trying to help the community. We're not just trying to get money off you. And you can, and all these brands, they do the same thing. They put it on like big names, but in the end, if it helps you strategy wise, then that's cool. But for me, it doesn't help. I think it's better for us to do something that that helps the community. Like eventually we're going to build gyms for small town type in the villages and really build those things.
You've talked to me a little bit about some of these projects before, and I think it's really cool to see like thinking beyond just like the clothing and apparel and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I mean, the clothing apparel is just a way for us to earn money.
Yeah.
If we're earning money selling the stock market, my money will be going to that still, So this is a way for us to be able to like, okay, cool. Like we raised money for this. Now we're going to put money into helping these kids because they have nothing,
Or bringing over these Thai trainers for these awesome seminars.
Exactly. And that's why it is what it is that we're building is these seminars that we're building right now are for high-end education, right? If we're able to bring a trainer that trained the world-class fighter that you watch every day. Let's say you train with the world-class fighter that won that fight, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you go in there, it's kind of gimmicky a little bit, right? Like they're like, oh, I love this guy. I just want to take a picture with him and give him a hug. And like, so now it's like, well, why don't you just do a meetup? Why do a seminar? Because there's no educational behind that.
You're kind of just hanging out with them.
Exactly. So if I brought her trainer or his trainer, right?
Yeah.
He teaches the class. Now you're learning how to be a champion.
Yeah,
right?
You're learning from the source. Yeah.
Exactly. So now why not find the best trainers to come and train? And that's where the value comes in, right? Where people don't understand the value.
Yep. And
that's where we educate people and build something where they get educated on the true Muay Thai circuit, right? Like how this person got good is because this person trained them and told them to fight like this and to work hard and to do this and that. So imagine you come to a seminar and that person tells you the same thing and teaches you, even though it's a fundamental basic, but in the end, it's not really that basic because now it turns into this, it turns into that, right? So that's where we come in with these seminars where like, if you're experienced, then okay, this is going to be a class for you. If you're just barely learning, cool. Then this instructor, because we have 2 instructors, right? In one day, one instructor is going to warm you up, right? And that'll be the basic. And then you'll have the fighter, like the one that's been fighting for long. He's a 4-time champion Lumpini fighter, and now he's a trainer. Now you're going to get to learn from him, like stuff like that. Like we want to be able to bring that, onto the table. So we're slowly kind of learning and figuring things out as we go. Because we did like 3 instructors, the last one. The turnout was great. It wasn't what we thought it would be, but it was a lot of fun.
But you got your first one done though. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
You learn how you can improve.
Exactly. And after I did that first one, even my team is like, yo, man, you lost money. You're going to keep going? Like, you still want to do this? I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep going. It's just, we're just going to lose money right now. And now I know, okay, don't do 3 instructors. Let's do 2 instructors first. And then I'm like, oh, let's not do 2 instructors. Let's do 1, So then now we understand like, okay, we didn't make money on this one. So now the visa money, that's what I call it. I have to pay visa fees for trainers to fly in, right? That's about like $8,000. So
$8,000 just for people to be clear out there.
Yeah, $8,000. Like $8, like from the government fees to now I give them the opportunity to work in the United States and make money and stay here for 3 years. And you have to pay a lawyer to do all that. So that comes out to be $8,000. Okay. That's where our money goes. It doesn't even go to try to pay the staff or try to pay, we pay the staff with our own money that we make from selling our clothes. Now the seminar money, that goes to getting more better trainers to come teach you.
Yeah.
That's the goal, right? We're not really looking at that, but people don't see that because they're so used to seeing companies just taking advantage all the time, or they feel like they take advantage, but they're not. We could even release books all day for people if they feel like we're stealing or we're just trying to make money. We'll show books. We'll show you that project. That's how serious we are. Because for me to help someone in my country, in Thailand, is more important to me. You know what I mean? Like someone who, like, they're earning like literally like $100 a month, $200 a month. Yeah. Luckily, the food is good. Like it's sustainable. Like they can still buy food, but the place to stay and everything, it gets expensive. So, if I'm able to bring a trainer whose fighter is making $100K to $200K a year, right? And he gets a purse cost, right? Like, I don't know, maybe like 10%, or not even. The gym takes it.
Yeah.
So, but let's say if I brought him over, and I'm able to do 5-6 shows, and they get 2,000 to 1,000, depending on how many ticket sales we get for that seminar, they go home with almost $1 million baht.
And that's huge.
Yeah, that's like, I'm gonna go buy a house, like that. I could go raise my family. So for me, that's my goal is to be able to bring these guys in, these Thai guys, and help them out, and not leave them in a gym, sleeping, at a gym and not housing them. And like, there's a lot of gyms like that too, that do that they think, oh, these Thai guys, they're from the village, so they don't care. Living in this gym must be like living in a hotel for them. No, like you got to put them in a nice place. So now we want to be able to see how these Thai people are coming into the country and how are they being treated. That's one thing too. If they're being treated poorly, then I'm going to try to get you the out of that place. You know what I mean? So it's just because they feel entitled, like, oh, this person's poor. So when I put them in a high-end little building, you're rich now, bro. No, man, you need to put them in a house, or put them in your house, right? Take care of him and see how it goes, man. Create that relationship. Don't be that douchebag. That's it. Like, so we're coming after you guys, man. If you guys treat these Muay Thai fighters like that, we're gonna come after you. I'm just letting you guys know.
So what's one strategy or like recipe that for like maybe business owners and their teams, like something that they can apply every day, maybe something you guys do every day with your team that would compound into big wins for other brands or like other businesses out there, or someone in your shoes?
So for us, we really have no money to pay our athletes, to be honest. I'll be real. Like, all our money really goes to is paying the staff, one, and then reinvesting into our product.
Yeah.
And then rent, and storage stuff that we have. So mainly it's understanding with which athlete really wants to be with you.
Yeah.
And if they're popular, if they're, and always communicate with them, treat them like they're your family. They could get as many products as they want. All they do every month, new product come out every month. They get to get that, they're part of a team. Like so let's say this athlete finds out that that guy's a Team Satra athlete too. Now they're going to talk to each other, even though they could fight each other one day, they're cool with each other. Mm-hmm. There's no, issue. Like we had like our first seminar, and then all these fighters finally hang out with each other in one house. So we got an Airbnb. It was one house, and all the fighters were there, right?
Oh.
And there's two fighters. They're like, yeah, we're in the same weight class. Like, eventually, I know I'm gonna fight you, you know. And then I'm like, okay, you guys bunk bed together then, because you guys know you guys gonna fight each other. You guys gonna be together. You're gonna bunk bed to each other, right?
Yeah.
And this guy, they're just comedians. They're like stupid. So he wakes up, right? No, he's like on top of the bunk bed, and he's like, hey, do we really have to fight each other? Like, that's the type of relationship that they have. They're like friends, like, oh shit, we really got to fight each other eventually, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just, that's the community though. Like, you know,
Muay Thai.
Exactly. You're going to fight the person who's standing next to you. And when you're in the ring, dude, all your friendship's gone, right?
Yeah.
But when you come out,
go ahead.
And when you come out, you guys are best friends. You guys are look at Buakaw and Sunshine. They don't know that those guys are like besties.
Yeah.
They do know, but they're
like
gonna
a lot
fight.
of people don't. But no, yeah, they're hanging out cooking fish, I think, like on their Instagram yesterday.
Exactly. So it's just funny, you know, like that.
It's like, you know, I brought one of our guys to Monterrey, Mexico, and they're very much the same way. Like, we bunked in this bed. We showed up at like 2 a.m. in Monterrey, and all the fighters from the tournament is an 8-man tournament, and we're all sleeping in the same room next to each other, just like crammed up. All the coaches and stuff too. And it's like, I'm like, hey, I think that's the guy you're fighting tomorrow. Like,
exactly. Like that's how it should be. Yeah. That's how it's always been, you know. Yeah. Because like, imagine like, you know, back in the day, Muay Thai was like very barbaric, I would say. You know, they buy a kid from a village that has promise, you know, and then the parents get the money, and then now they take care of that kid, and then that kid becomes a champion. So they take like 70%, he gets 30, and then he takes that 30% and gives it to his family.
Yeah,
and then now he has nothing, right? Yeah. So it's just, and then now they're all together in one room. So are you gonna be like, hey, dude, I'm better than you? We're the same.
We're literally the same. We're both trying for the same thing, man.
Yeah, we're trying to just feed our family. Like, you're trying to feed your family. I'm man. Like, oh, you did that too? Yeah, I did that too. Now there's no hatred for each other unless you have to act like you hate each other, right? Like, you know, you gotta kind of pretend like you guys hate each other. Okay, cool. We'll go and pretend we hate each other.
Yeah, we'll shove each other or something. Like you saw Buakaw and Chai, like they were doing like the fake face off, and you like
exactly
put his like finger on his nose and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, like you already know, like, dude, like if it's a Thai person versus a Thai person, they're not gonna really hate each other. They're just like, they have to do it because
for the cameras.
Foreigners don't know. Like, they're used to the whole McGregor look, right? They're used to the whole drama, and people really like that WWF lifestyle, you know? So in the Western world, so.
It's one of my friends when he was fighting at Max. I was with Matt Lucas, and we're both staring at him. We're like, dude, push him and say America. Like, come on, just do it. Like, the Thai guy, he understood what we were saying because we were like saying in Thai too. Just like, hey, do it. And the Thai guy started laughing like, don't do it. It's just people that don't know the culture because it's newer for here in the U.S. Not a lot of people. Like, how many coaches do you know that were training here in the U.S. actually like go to Thailand?
Right, exactly.
Not a lot. It's not everyone. Yeah, maybe 10%, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on to the next thing. Let's fast forward 1 year. All right, you're looking back on decisions that you're thinking about making right now. Like, I don't know what's going on in your head, but I can see the wheels spinning. And imagine that the people you work with today, your team, they exceed your highest expectations. What recipe or strategy did they consistently apply that delivered the most value to your brand?
So when they start working with us, I really give them the freedom to do whatever. So when you have the freedom to do whatever, and then all of a sudden, like let's say they present the first work, right? Then I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know, but maybe you could do this and that. And then I break down exactly why would you design it like this if you know that your market is this? Yeah. So I'm teaching them how to build their own brand, right?
Yeah.
Instead of me going, oh, just do this, change that. No, I don't do that.
You tell them why, right?
I tell them exactly why.
Dude, that's great that you're doing that.
I'm like, hey man, like, let's say Eric, he's one of our videographers who I'm very close to. He's one of our partners now. Literally, when he films something and I'm like, oh, that's dope, cool. But it's just filming it. There's no, I'm like, where's the story? Where's why is he hitting pads for? Or what makes this good, you know?
Yeah.
And he gets frustrated because he's like, man, I sat there and I edited for like 3 hours to him telling me. I'm like, look, let me break it down to you really quick. Like, this is great. Like, just adjust these things, right?
Uh-huh.
So I would tell him, okay, so the people that are watching, they're watching to see how to be inspired, right? Or how make them be like, you have 3 seconds, right? On Instagram for them to be like,
Yeah,
swipe up,
yeah,
swipe, right? So how do you captivate someone the first 3 seconds? And that's what I taught him was,
okay.
You could put a pretty picture in the beginning, but if it doesn't reel me in, then people are just going to pass it.
Yeah.
People are going to not care, right? So then now the whole time when I was mentoring him, I was like, okay, look, like, make it exciting. If I swipe up right away, that means I didn't give a shit about it, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it? What makes me give a shit about something? If you have to see something very exciting right away, and then it switches to the introduction, right? Mm-hmm. And then rebuild yourself to another introduction. That's the reason why our videos are so compelling, you know, are very attractive. Like, people watch our videos a lot because the way I train him to understand the market. And that's why people end up staying with you, end up being like,
yeah, you're teaching them, marketing. You're teaching them how to build a brand.
Exactly. And they're learning how to build their own brand. They're learning how to even be better. Like all the mistakes that we do. Some people are like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this and that. Let's tell them like that they're wrong. I'm like, no, this is not selling them anything. And they're like, why aren't you going to say something back? I'm like, because silent is golden. Like, why would I pour my energy into saying something back? Mm-hmm. Just let them think whatever they want to think. And then they see our progression. Right? So when people are mad about something, pretty much they keep that anger to themselves because you never responded to it. Yeah. They were never, that gift was never given to them, was never given to that person because that person didn't care. So now you hold that gift to yourself. So that's not a gift anymore. That's your problem, right? Mm. And then you keep seeing that person that you try to give a gift to excelling, then it makes them even more mad. So I told him like, hey man, just don't say anything. Yeah. Everything that you do, you stay on your lane, do the work that you love to do, and don't mind the people that hate on you.
Absolutely.
It's just part of the game, you know. It's and this is the reason why I feel like everyone that's part of our staff really love to be part of the team, because now they're getting gifts from athletes, right? Like, oh, I was here at this seminar, so I got you some gloves, you know. I got you. Oh, you go free training at, you know, at a gym that you're visiting a town because you're just hanging out. Now you can go to the gym. They all know you. Yeah. And they're like, dude, come in, you know, just train with us, you know, whatever. And now it's like, it becomes a gang kind of, you know, like a fraternity that like, it's hard to leave unless you're just not into Muay Thai anymore and you just move on. Right.
That's good, man. Like you're creating a following, you're creating a lifestyle, like you said, beginning of this whole thing. Let's kind of go into our next part here. Is like, let's imagine you're staying in a room full of like business owners, business people. They're, you know, just like you when they're starting out, they're battling their way through insecurities, finding their footing, setbacks, life, right? Mm-hmm. What are 2 or 3 strategies you recommend they focus on to ensure success? Like I said, you know, it's if you really want to be successful in this business, success is not measured by how much money you make. It's about how much is fulfilling your life, right? So when you're running a business, if you're trying to have all the materials in the world, like fast cars, big house, and all that, you're in the wrong business. Or you could be in the right business. You could be in a law firm. You could do all that stuff. Now you can do all that stuff, right? But if you want to break through into something and be the pioneer of that, it's just like Nike, right? They pioneered themselves in running.
And then from running, they work their way up to all the other. So same thing, I would tell them to like, if you're going to do something, do it because you love it. Do it because you should lower your lifestyle to do it. So if you had a car that you really don't need to have, then go get a fucking Honda, dude. Like,
get a beater.
Get a studio, and work your empire until it becomes something that can pay for you for all the things that you have, Like, look at me, like I run Satra and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, like, why? It's because I'm not trying to have a house. Like, having a house in California is crazy now these days. Like, you got to be like a trillionaire, So, and if you're traveling all the time, that's the money that you get to travel everywhere, right?
Yeah,
like, you have a business, you get to go to Thailand, you get to go to Taiwan, you get to go to Japan, you get to do all these things, and that already in general is your riches. It's things that fulfill your life.
You're
right?
You're getting to experience life. It's your ticket to do this stuff,
Exactly, and you get to meet people. Now if I go to Australia, I already know who to meet up with. Oh, when I go to Thailand, I know who to meet up with. If I go to Japan, I know who to meet up with. When I go to UK, I know who to meet up with. Like that. How is that? Like, imagine you have all the money in the world, and you have no one to go to except for your money. That's great. Like if you like to live like that, then that's good. But I want to be able to live where I have a big network. And that's what I would tell all the business people, like, hey man, just do what you love to do. And if it makes you happy, do it, because life is short, right? If you need to take care of somebody, then you need to get a job where it helps take care of that person.
Yeah.
But if you want to live where you're never going to quit and you're always going to do it, you're always going to build that company no matter what. This is all I have. Like, this is how I see it. Satra is all I have. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else that I can do to make money except for this,
You're gonna be all in. Yeah.
I'm all in. Like, I'm not going to go and find a 9-to-5 job. Now I have to wake up at 9, I have to go work for somebody, come back home, and then work on the business. It's like, now I put that on a setback, right? So I would do that in the beginning of the business, right? So I'm like, hey man, work 9 to 5 first. At night, you're in the lab, right? Now the company's making 6 figures. Okay, can the company afford me to stay in a 1-bedroom apartment and have a store? Yeah, it can. Cool. Then I'm gonna do that, right? And now I'm gonna quit my job, and then I'm gonna live off pennies, right? So I don't eat out. I make food at home, and and I continue to create good content, and just keep going, and that's the advice that I would always give to every business person who's just barely starting. Like, look, this is the life that you're gonna take in. Let me know if you could do this now. If you can't, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line, right?
Yeah, it's very painful. It's like people, like, I've said it here before, is like, man, I worked 3 jobs when we opened up our academy, like, to be able to, and the academy was still open, and then we also had that too. So it was like having a 4th job, and it's earned, it's not given.
Exactly.
What you're building is earned. You earn that. No one came over. You're not a trust fund kid where someone came and gave you money to invest, right?
Exactly.
I slept in one of our academies for 2 years, like, to keep my expenses low. Like, literally slept there. And it was like all in. People are like, man, how you get so much done? It's like, because I'm here every single day.
And you're not even Thai, like, you're just like, I need to stay here because for financial reasons, right?
Yeah.
Where the pastor's like, I don't know where to go, so I'm stuck here. Like, it's the best, like, that you have that mindset, and that's how you become successful.
That's it. That's what it takes, man. And it's that makes sense. Talking to you more now, this makes sense why I see you guys grow. So I figure there's something to it. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, man. How can people find Satra, and how can people find you?
So you can follow us on Instagram. It's Satrawoot, Satrawoot. And you could follow me personally if you want to see my dumb posts. I'm cool. I'm very funny. So it's Jackstagram, is JAXST And you could come to our website at www.satrawoot.com. Check us out. We have high quality shorts. We have some cool Muay Thai t-shirts that you will not see anywhere else. And yeah, man.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link that down in the show notes. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, any of the podcast platforms, it'll be down in the show notes. If you're watching
dope.
Make sure to smash the subscribe button. All right. Do you guys have a YouTube?
Yes. So it's Satrawoot.
All right. Awesome. I'll make sure to link that down in the description as well. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button. Jack, thanks so much for coming in today, man.
Thanks for having me, man.